Good afternoon, thank you for coming. The purpose of this press conference is to provide information regarding an officer-involved shooting that took place the morning of February 20th. At the end, we'll have time for a few questions. I invite Assistant Chief Joel Schluty to come up.
On Wednesday, February 19th at approximately 8:20 p.m., officers with the Columbia Police Department were dispatched to a residence in the 3700 block of Rollins Road in reference to a report of a wanted person in a truck parked in the driveway. That person was identified as Keith E. Brody, 41 of Columbia. When officers arrived at approximately 8:35 p.m., they observed Brody sitting in a truck parked in the driveway of the residence. When officers approached the truck and instructed Brody to show his hands, Brody did not comply and began to pull the truck out of the driveway. While fleeing from officers, the truck Brody was driving struck one of the officers positioned on the passenger side. Later in the evening, the officer was assessed by medical personnel at University Hospital for non-life-threatening injuries caused by the impact of the fleeing suspect's truck. Brody fled the area at a high rate of speed, and officers engaged in a short vehicle pursuit as Brody refused to stop. Officers terminated the pursuit at approximately 8:39 p.m. when they lost sight of Brody's truck. On Thursday, February 20th at approximately 12:04 a.m., deputies from the Boone County Sheriff's Department were dispatched to a disturbance involving Brody in the 6200 block of Southwest Way in Boone County. It was reported that Brody fired shots at a male at the residence and then left. When deputies arrived, Brody fled in an SUV at a high rate of speed towards Route K. Two CPD officers riding together in a marked Columbia Police vehicle were in the area attempting to get in a position to utilize stop sticks, more commonly known as spikes, when they spotted Brody turning west on Route K towards McBain. CPD officers assisted the Boone County Sheriff's Department and pursued the SUV, eventually heading north on Nebo Cemetery Road. At the same time, other officers were responding to the area of the pursuit and set up spikes at the intersection of Nebo Cemetery Road and Highway UU. When Brody saw the patrol vehicle set up at the intersection, he turned the SUV around and began driving back towards the pursuing officers, who had stopped and exited their patrol vehicle. As Brody's SUV approached the officers, one CPD officer fired shots at the vehicle. Shortly after, Brody's SUV ran off the roadway near the intersection of Highway UU and Nebo Cemetery Road. Brody and a passenger were observed running into the woods. Officers and deputies set up a perimeter, and members of the Columbia Police Department Special Weapons and Tactics Team, or SWAT, and K-9 officers were called to conduct a large area search for Brody and the passenger. The Missouri State Highway Patrol helicopter also assisted in the search at our request. Neither Brody nor the passenger were located. At this time, Brody is still at large. There was no evidence at the scene to indicate Brody or the passenger were injured. Photos of Brody will be shared with the media. This is an active investigation which has been referred to the Columbia Police Department's Internal Affairs Unit for review. Sergeant Scott Alpers with the Internal Affairs Unit is going to discuss that part of the process. The Columbia Police Department has also requested the Missouri State Highway Patrol conduct an independent investigation into this incident. Both officers have been placed on administrative leave while the investigation is conducted. And now Sergeant Scott Alpers with Internal Affairs is going to discuss that part of the process.
As Chief Schluty said, my name is Sergeant Scott Alpers. I'm the supervisor of the Internal Affairs Unit. As you heard, on Thursday, February 20th, a CPD officer was involved in an officer-involved shooting while pursuing a subject who was reported to have struck an officer with his vehicle and fired shots at a civilian. As a part of the investigation process, this case was turned over to Internal Affairs. The Columbia Police Department is committed to high ethical standards. We are an integral part of the community, and we exist to serve the needs of citizens. The community entrusts us with considerable authority, and we must be responsive to their concerns. When incidents like this occur, the Internal Affairs Unit takes several steps to ensure that the investigation is effective, conducted thoroughly, and in accordance with policy. Once the Internal Affairs Unit is called to the scene, the administrative review process begins. While on scene, the Internal Affairs Unit collects photos, and public safety statements are taken from those who were involved in the incident. It should be noted that there were 2 officers on scene, but only 1 officer discharged their service weapon during this incident. Per Columbia Police Department Policy 1020.5, both officers were placed on paid administrative leave paid administrative leave for the best interests of the department as well as the investigation. In addition to the Internal Affairs Unit conducting an investigation, the Columbia Police Department has met with the Missouri State Highway Patrol Division of Drug and Crime Control, who has agreed to conduct a separate investigation into the events that took place in this incident. Under Columbia Police Department Policy 310, which discusses officer-involved shooting and critical incidents, we have the option of having an independent investigation, which further allows us to remain transparent and establish legitimacy in this case. The Internal Affairs Unit will continue to collect evidence, including body-worn camera, dash cameras, and statements that relate to this case.
We recognize there was a delay in the time of the information being released. A lot of events that led up to the shooting are still under investigation. We've had a lot of discussions about the release of information, and I do pledge to you that we will improve the speed of the release of this type of information in the future. No further information is available at this time. Anyone with additional information about this incident is asked to contact the Columbia Police Department at 573-874-7652 or Crime Stoppers at 875-TIPS. If you see Brody, call 911 and report his location.